Greetings, Tube of Views. It's YellowBelly here. Please let me know if you can hear me. I shall. Bum ba dum bum 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 bum. Oh, hello, DVD. Yep. Oh, yeah. Let me know that you can hear me, folks. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Right. So I shall wallop that on so you can see me. Yep. Oh, fantastic, buddy. Fantastic. And we've got quite a few people in the chat already, which is lovely to see. Let's have a look who was in. We've got, first in was the gorgeous 8-Bit Rach. Hello, darling. Good to see you. We've got Johnny B. Good to see you, buddy. Big J himself, the BJ. Big Juffer, 80s Retro Gamer. Hello, Andy. Yep, everybody's piling in as we speak. The legend, that is Pete Walker. Good to see you, my friend. And we have, who else have we got coming in? We have, I'm sure I saw, was it DVD Fat Bloke or somebody? Yeah, DVD Film Bloke. Yeah, seeing you there, DVD. Good to see you. And, Ego Chip. Oh, no, it's you. It's me again. Yes. It is me. We have Jason Grant. Now, there's a new name I've not heard of. So, welcome to the YellowBelly Retro Recollections, buddy. And we have Kev Howell. Good to see you, matey. Radio, superb. So, we've got a few people in already, which is marvellous. Now then, folks, I have to, as always, because I did promise Steve I would do it, and this is another Steve, and... Oh, but before I do anything, look who's in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only gorgeous Lady Andrea. Hello, my dear. Good to see you. And I shall play this. That should keep my sponsor, Retro Limb, happy. And yes, we are here again for another week of Retro Recollections. Now, before I start to introduce our guest, what I will say is next Sunday, I have to work. Hi, Andy. And, by the way, I forgot, I have finished that section. I need to send it to you, love. So what I will be doing is having next Sunday off. So Texie88, I believe, is going to be streaming in my stead. So please, all who can, join him. He's just dipping his toe in the streaming waters, so to speak. So then, I think what we need to do, really, is bring on my guest. Now, my guest is somebody that I came across on a hardware video, and he's got his own YouTube channel, and I've just discovered he also just, again, dipping his toe in the streaming waters of Twitch. So please, everybody, if you could welcome SteDubya. Here he is waving, and there we go. Hiya, Steve. How's it going, mate? Hiya. How's it going? Oh, lovely background there, by the way, sir.
I'm good, mate. I'm really good. Yeah, I think we're going for an 80s stream, so I thought I'd go for the 80s Max Headroom background. Yeah.
Oh, yes, definitely. And it makes me look really a piss poor streamer now with my wallpaper. But not to worry. So, Steve, welcome. We will later on have a discussion about your channel. And Steve's, I won't say relatively new, but he's new to a degree to a few of us in this community. First thing I will ask, how did you come across us? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm on a bit of a delay at the moment.
Are you taking the sound feed in from YouTube or from...
I will. I'm getting both, so I'm getting a delay. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you mute YouTube, you should just get me direct.
Ah, perfect. There we go. Yeah, okay. I'm good now. Apologies for that.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So I didn't realise you had a channel at first, and I think you were kind enough to comment on my 50 subscriber video initially. And I put a little video out just to thank the community for the wonderful support I've had from them. And you said, "Oh, well, that's wonderful. I'll give you a shout out on the live stream." And it's then I started looking at your channel. I found out you've got this amazing channel. You've got this amazing community around you, and that's how I found you. Absolutely amazing.
Oh, fantastic. And I know there's, hello, Jalan. I know there is quite a few members of this community, and I won't say my community because I robbed them. I stole this community from Zypho and Novabug, so I class myself as a bit of a stream whore. So, yeah. So, I put myself about a bit. So, yeah. And there's a few of these I know that you mentioned in your 100 subscriber video.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there was Texie88, so a big shout out to Texie, who's got an amazing retro channel. And mate, you pump videos out at an amazing volume. It's absolutely fantastic. And 8-Bit Rach, of course, you've got another amazing retro Amstrad channel as well. Absolutely superb. And the big thing about both those channels is that you care about the subject you're talking about because it's part of your history, and that's what makes them so good to watch. So keep them coming; they're amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree. You can sense the passion for the 8-bits and things like that. So that's quite a nice little segue, really, into you were saying about the passion of the stuff. Oh, there you go. You got a thank you off Rachel there. So I sent you a list as always. I sent everybody a list out, and you responded. And it's just the idea, folks. If you're new to this channel, is just having a look at each person's retro recollections, and sometimes we have our own that go alongside it. Now we will start on the sweets, and I shall bring the first one up on screen. Now, I have memories of these things, and these things were a very odd sweet in the 80s. I sort of got on with them, but they had that little plasticky, almost polystyrene feel to them in my mouth. Can you say anything about these and what drew you to them? You should see them on your screen.
Definitely polystyrene, I agree with you there. But it's not so much the sweet itself, it's everything that came with it. So I always remember these sort of back in the mid-80s. I don't know if you guys did the same, but you go to the corner shop and you'd buy a 10p mix. I don't think you could even get them anymore, but it was literally 10 sweets, a penny a sweet. And it would always they'd always try and screw you a little bit, I think, because they'd always put about 2 or 3 of the flying saucers in, because they were the really cheap ones.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much that I liked the sweet itself. It was a challenge to see how many of these I could cram into my mouth in one go. Between me and my mates, I think I managed about 12. I think my mates were able to do an awful lot more. But it's something I've never really grown out of, even at work now, when I could go to the office before the whole human malware thing kicked off. We'd still have competitions. I'd buy a big tub of them for next to nothing, and it's the same thing. How many can you cram in your mouth? It's got absolutely nothing to do with the quality of the sweet at all. But it's one of those sweets that I had as a child, and I'll still buy them now.
Now, 8-Bit Rach is saying in the chat that she feels a need now to try and beat that challenge. So what's the record you hold?
Mine was 12, but
right,
I've
Rachel.
got a fairly small mouth, although ex-girlfriends probably argue differently.
Yeah. Now, Rachel, I'm not going to assume you have a big mouth, dear, but challenge accepted by the looks of it. So we expect a video on that.
I waive any responsibility for anyone who might choke. So
Yeah, I think that'd be a fabulous channel. Yeah, YouTube video channel. Yeah, Rach, definitely. You see, that's the problem, sweetheart. When you come on my channel and you say these things, I will hold you to it as such. So yeah, I was never that keen on these sweets. And talking about the 10p mix, I was more of a blackjack's fruit salad kind of guy in the 80s. Guys in the chat, what would you have in your 10p mix, please? Please put it in the chat what you had, and we'll try and pick it up. Yeah, what were they made of? Was it like rice paper?
I assume it was, yeah, with a sherbet centre. But somehow they made it taste like a credit card. It was incredible.
Yeah. Okay, we got some coming in already. Let's have a look. It's like eating paper from Ego Chip. Yep. Fizzy cola bottles. Yep, I remember those. Fruit salad and white mice. Yep. Black Johnson. Now else. I totally agree, Big Juffer. We're going to have a good stream, me and you, matey. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Sherbet Pips. Yes, that's Sherbet Pips were... appeared last week on Andrea's, and again they just come across as a choking hazard for me. Controversial opinion: blackjacks are the devil's way. Oh, come on, DVD. They're not. Now, I will tell you a little true story about blackjacks. It's something I used to do with my lad, and I forgot all about it during my stream. But he reminded me when he was on the phone earlier. When he was a little one, and you know when kids, you know they're lying, what I would do was I'd make him, I'd say, right, eat a blackjack. Oh my God.
Just because, well, I can enjoying the retro memories from everyone so far, D.
Oh, for God's sake. Oh, Pete. Oh, my God. That's huge. Oh. Sorry, mate. That's just hit me. I don't know if you've seen that. Yeah, that is a monster dono from Pete Walker. Oh my God, Pete, if that was a mistake, you know, just let me know, buddy. You know, I'm not. But that is a huge, huge dono. Please, people, send love to Pete in the chat. What an absolute star. Wow. Yeah, I might not have my settings set to English pounds by the looks of it, but oh my God. Big love. Please put hearts in the chat for Pete Walker, folks, for that. That is a monster dono. And I promise you, Pete, that donation will go towards a microphone. One thing I've noticed with my streams is that my sound quality isn't as good. So that will go towards a new streaming microphone. I promise you, buddy. Oh, God, sorry, I'm getting emotional now. Pete, sorry. Well, there you go. 5,000 penny sweets. Indeed, yeah. That's like 600 blackjacks. Sorry, back to the story. So what I would do with my son was, I'll say, I'll know if you're lying if you eat this sweet, because your tongue will turn black. And of course, I knew he was lying in his tongue, and then he'd tell me the truth, and I forgot all about that little story. So I thought I'd have that. Sorry, mate. Yeah. Kev's right. Yeah, he has. Pete says now we can buy a Banana Man costume. Indeed, Banana Man. Oh, mate, you've broke me, mate. You've absolutely broke me, Pete. Oh, big thanks, buddy. So I need to carry on, or else I'll end up in tears. Right, so that was Sweet 1. Sweet 2, I selected is, and I think this is one that we all remember, was Double Dip.
Yeah. This is memories of early to mid 80s and having to walk to the shops, which was a good mile away from where we lived at the time. And there'd be me, my younger brother, my younger brother who'd be in the pram, and we had one of those. Do you remember the pull along trolleys with the tartan front to them?
Oh yeah.
We had one of those as well. In fact, I've been looking at them recently, and I'm thinking, God, that'd be really handy. And I think I finally hit that age. But anyway, I'm sidetracking. Yeah, So we would always, at least once or twice a week, we would have this walk to the shops, and we would always get a sweet for the walk back, because we didn't have a lot of money back in the 80s, but we could maybe manage a sweet once or twice a week. And this was one of them. And I always used to open it and think, great, there's going to be loads of sherbet in this. So you'd lick the swizzle stick, and then you get a massive scoop of the sherbet, and then you'd pull the face sort of for a while. And then I always felt cheated because there was never as much in it as you expected there to be. But yeah, it was like a challenge to see how much of it I could scoop onto the swizzle stick before I ate that, and the funniest face I could pull almost. I never ate sweets in the normal way. Everything was a challenge for me back in the day. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I don't know if you caught my stream, but we had one called Popping Candy, Space Dust, and that would absolutely, you'd pull the weirdest of faces. But yeah, definitely. I used to get the now whether it was more 70s and early, but it was the you had a licorice stick. Soft licorice stick in a tube of sherbet. I forget what it was called. Was it a sherbet dib dab or something it was called? But yeah, again, pulling those faces, and pulling faces was that used to get, again, in your 10p mix, was the lemon sherbets. So it's hard on the outside and sherbet on the inside. Yeah, sherbet dab. Thank you, Rach. Thank you, Rach. So yeah, that's an amazing memory, and let's have a look. I still love those, says Andrea.
I mean, it's a memory that made me smile at the time, and since I've grown up and I'm considerably more immature, I think it sounds a bit like a sex act, so it makes me smile even more now. But,
well, of course, yeah, exactly. 12, Rachel, you need to beat 12. No. Are you still talking about double tips? Yeah. So the innuendos are coming in, which is fantastic. You know me and my channel, folks. Innuendo away.
It's not going to get any better as it goes along. I'm halfway through a bottle of Glenmorangie, so yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, especially with me, it's and all these beautiful females in the chat. I'm restraining myself. I really am. So. You had a thing about dipping things in in various substances, because your next sweet was choc dips.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I loved that there was a choc dip and there was a toffee dip as well. I think they were almost the same thing, but there was an art to eating that as well, and you had to calculate the correct chocolate to stick ratio to ensure that you finished it with nothing left over. Because what you didn't want to do is run out of chocolates and have a load of sticks left over.
And vice versa. Yeah, or else you'd have to get your finger in there.
Well, yeah, that wasn't the worst thing if you had chocolate left over, because the finger or the tongue would go in. So it wasn't so bad. Yeah.
Now, anybody just tuning in, we're talking about sweets. But, yeah. Oh, now Ego Chip never had one of these. Oh, wow. The one good thing is I don't know if they're the same, and I can't see them being the same because they're not allowed to have the sugar content and stuff, but you can get retro sweets still. I've seen them online, but I'm not sure if they're going to be the same. Right, Kev Hall says there was a red pot as well, but he wasn't sure what the flavour was. Ooh. Right, Kev Hall says, oh yes, choc dips. Always got my mum to buy these every time we went shopping. Yeah. And 80s Retro Gamer, he loved these until they made the chocolate less. Now that would have really messed up your ratio when they started putting less and less chocolate in them.
Yeah, no, it would have been practically a skid mark per dip, I think, at that point. Yeah.
So, yeah. P. Walker reckons he's still got one in his cupboard. I hope it's not from the 80s still. I don't think that's it. Oh, now there's somebody who I've not seen for a little while on my channel. It's GP. Salutes to you, GP. Welcome back. Good to see you, my friend. And sorry, I like making a fuss of GP. He's a bit. I don't know if you know of GP, but he's a bit of an enigma. His name changes all the time, so we never know who he is, really. Right, so let's... And, oh, we've got Anna Zero. Anna Zero as well has just walked into the stream. Hello, my love. Good to see you. And good to see you making videos again. Anna's just done a recent video, and you were asking about before about channels to promote. I think Anna's is
yes.
one. Yes, Anna.
Excellent.
Anna's is definitely one of those. She puts a different slant on the gaming. The only way I can describe it is she'll play a game and describe the scenery and what she says and what she sees in her own words. And once you get to know Anna, you'll understand. But yes, we have very, very strange comments. And, oh, not another one. Who's it now? Who's it now? Oh, thank you, Oral B. Okay, thank you, Oral B, for the $3. Oral B. Now I know who that is because I am sure I saw a post on Discord, BJ. So big thank you for the dono. It must be payday for everybody. End of the month. Well, so yeah, that covers it. She says, yeah. So. Super. Sorry, mate. These donos, I'll be dead honest. It's like it really like stops you in your tracks. And it's like,
yeah, as it should. I mean, very, very kind people.
Oh, mate.
There you are.
Yeah, I'm amazed.
They're looking after you.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm amazed that people will do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm just as guilty. I think I was the first person to donate. I don't know if do you go onto the Novabug and Zypho streams?
Zypho streams, I've been in a few. Yeah, really high quality productions. Novabug, yes, I do catch them when I can. I really enjoy his videos.
Yeah. I mean, you'll notice on the screen is the Bug Army. I'm a member of the Bug Army, so I do pay the love back that I get in the streams as well to those. What's that Anna saying? White chocolate dips were sickly sweet. Now, are you sure, Anna, that was white chocolate? I'll leave that at that.
I don't think I've tried a white chocolate one, but I'm gonna.
You gonna? Okay. I'll see if I can whip some up for you later, mate. Ooh, matron.
Yeah.
Right.
Send me a sample. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. It's you have to bear with me though because it's unleaded. My second wife insisted. Right. Now then, what I would like to do now is obviously we've covered sweets or anything else. I was thinking earlier on, and sometimes you'll be sat there and you'll get a flash of a memory. And then you're like, and it happened to me when I was in the supermarket today, and I saw this like Chinese food, and back in the day, I used to get, I'm staying on the food theme, I used to get trying to be because you got to remember 70s and 80s, it wasn't a global village that we lived in, and I used to get the Vesta chow mein packs. And you'd get and it just brought back this flash of a memory, and I'd try my best. I mean, I can eat with chopsticks now, no problem, but trying to eat it with chopsticks and all that, trying to be a little bit more worldly. Such. Is there any foodstuffs that maybe isn't around now that, other than sweets, that you can recall?
Well, I definitely remember the Vestas because I used to be a caravanner when I was younger. Yeah, I was the coolest 19-year-old you've ever known. I didn't so much go for the sports car. I had the Nissan Bluebird and a Swift Corniche caravan, and me and my ex used to go out in that. And we always had a stock of Vestas because they'd last forever. Those things, absolutely loved them. Yeah, but other sweets, other food that you don't see. Used to eat a thing in high school called cannonballs, and I tried to find a reference to them. And I just can't. But they were, when you got into them, they were basically a chewing gum. But they were, you used to get them in packs of 2 or packs of 3. I can't remember. But they They were little yellow little yellow balls
Yep.
with a crunchy outside. You bite into them and you just get a mouthful of sherbet.
Yeah.
So your eyes would be like saucers for a few seconds because there was no gentle dispensing of it. It was just in your mouth straight away. And then you get the chewing gum afterwards. But it was the ice cream van that used to sell them where I went to school. So, of course, all we did in class was munch on either those or what was the other ones? Eyeballs, they were called as well.
I remember the eyeballs, yeah, definitely remember the eyeballs, yeah. And when you're saying that, it reminds me of, was it a screwball you used to get as well, where you get your ice cream and at the bottom of it there was like a round chewing gum.
Yeah, I remember those, definitely, yeah. Oh, I forgot. I completely forgotten about those.
Yeah. Oh, no, I remember those. Yeah, right, let's have a look at Ego Chips putting some stuff in here now. What's it saying? From the 90s, I used to love Ross Pizza from Quick Save. They had about 3 strands of grated cheese on them. But the tomato sauce was so nice, and you had to add your own cheese. Yes, Ganna, golf balls, I remember those. Yeah, golf balls. Mint chewing gum done up as a golf ball. I remember those, definitely. Yep, definitely. I will check that out, Juffer, by the way. And again, another one to add to your list, possibly, sir. Yeah, Big Juffer, he does a lot of shoot 'em ups.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I look forward to all of these. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, now we've got a few people in chat. I'll just bring it up. What Steve has asked me to do is ask for people to, in my Discord, under the Retro Recollections, if you can put a link to your YouTube channels in there, because he wants to make a video of channels to recommend for his channel, and he would love to. So obviously, those with channels, please, I know 80s Retro Gamer's got one, and put the links in there so Steve can pick them up after the stream, and he can start doing his channel and do his own research on each channel. That'd be awesome, guys. There we go. We'll do off 80s Retro Game. Hello, FC Denmark. Yeah.
Wonderful. It's mostly selfish, to be honest. I'm just looking for awesome channels to follow as well. So. Yeah.
Everybody in this community, that have channels, they are awesome. Yeah. So, we'll do from 80s Retro Gamer. 80s Retro Gamer does a lot of Mega Drive stuff. And, excellent. And GP says, I don't have any channels, but he does have hairy nipples. So, there you go. Now then, so we'll get off the food because I haven't had my tea and I'm getting hungry now. And I'd like to move over to something that was really... Yes, well, you need to sort that out, Ego Chip. We need to... Sorry, he was saying he hasn't updated his channel. So, come on, mate. Toys. Now, I was really fascinated by your toy choices. Not so much the electronics, but this one, the first one I will pull up is, you just have to wait for it to appear. We all had one of these at some stage, especially in the early 80s. It was a Scalextric. Now, I had one from the early 80s, and it wasn't a figure of 8 track. It was the next size up, so it had a bit of a straighter bit. But Mighty Metro Scalextric. What can you tell me about this?
Yeah, again, this isn't the same model I had. I couldn't find a reference to it, but it was basically a giant oval, the one I had, and the corners were banked up on it. And we must have been 5, maybe 6 when we got this as well. And it had the 2 blowouts as well, so it had 2 little holes in the track, and you'd hit the plunger and it would explode the car off the track.
Right.
There was an art to it. There really was. It was almost impossible to get. If you get the car around the track without actually falling off, or without the thing tumbling over, it was like you felt like you'd won, whether you actually won the race or not. But yeah, I do remember this from a very early age. But because we lived in a fairly small house at the time, we didn't have the room to permanently set it up. So it would be played with and then dismantled and put away for every session. And of course, when we first got it, it was constantly being set up and put away till the tabs started breaking on the track itself, so it wasn't making continuity at all. So at which point we started repairing it by watching bits of tin foil in it as well. And of course, the cars didn't run too well on that either. And then it had problems with, I don't know if this was on all scale electrics, but the pickups used to wear out.
Oh yeah, the two, you had two metal braids.
Yeah.
Didn't you? On metal braids underneath, and yeah, they would eventually wear out and curl up, and you'd have to replace them. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be useless. I mean, we never had the money to replace them, so you'd end up wrapping a bit of tin foil around it just to try and make the thing work. Really, with mixed results. By the time we'd finished with it, it was a pretty unreliable thing. But it's true to a Metro, I suppose, for anyone who ever had one. But yeah, it was well used, and it was used to death. So, but yeah, fond memories of. I don't think me and my brothers ever raced together. We all wanted to play against my dad. So I'd play against my dad, my brother would play against my dad.
Yeah.
And we'd cry foul if he ever used that blowout thing and knocked us off the track as well. That was horrible.
Yeah, happy memories. Now then, I did notice in the chat, I have to salute to Mikey Smith, the awesome Mikey Smith, who will be streaming after me tonight. So the link is in the description. And now there is, if you like your retro television, SteDubya, that's a Twitch channel for you to check out. He does retro TV programs from the 80s and 90s.
I'm already there. That sounds awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
So there we go. Yeah. Again, I will make sure that all the links are in my Discord for you. And yeah, it'd be nice to have maybe Twitch channels on there as well.
Definitely.
So, Scale Electric. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Scale Electric, guys in the chat. I saw John Gage. Good to see you, buddy. Mentioned TCR. So, were you a TCR guy, or this is for the chat? Did you have TCR, Total Control Racing? That was the one where you could switch lanes, if I remember rightly. Or were you a Scale Electric guy? Let me know in the chat. FC Den Haag says the Hot Wheels racetracks were cool also. Super. Yeah. Big Jeff says, love TCR. In real life, it was shite. Yeah, it was also a poor man's Scale Electric. Yeah, so we got a few people now going. Scale Electric, but always shit for me. I was lost. Magnets off the bottom, also shite. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, poor Mikey Smith had the Scale Electric, the shittest one ever. It was just a circle. So, but you could go to Hobbit. Sorry, I'm sticking on this for a while. But you could go to the shops and buy new cars. You could buy extra track and things like that. Did you ever venture down that way, Steve?
Oh, sorry. No, we never had the money to do it. Unfortunately, no. We had the long oval, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, not to worry. Yeah. So again, some more lovely retro memories coming in for guys. Yeah, they were like, GP says he remembers that the new cars were expensive, like 50 quid. Well, maybe in the late 80s, but prior to that, yeah.
One thing I do really remember about it was the power supply, the noise out of the power supply.
Oh my God, yeah.
Thing.
Yeah,
well, this out at any point,
Yeah, we didn't. Obviously you're an electronics guy, and the power supplies weren't switching, were they?
No, I think it was just a very, very crude. No, they wouldn't have been switching at that time. No, it probably wasn't running on any sort of exact voltage. I wouldn't have thought. It was That'll do. Put it in a box.
That'll do. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, I assume I don't know how many volts they were knocking out, but yeah, you had bare wire and bare metal electricity. I don't think that'd run today.
No. Probably not enough to do you any harm, but do you know what? There's nothing wrong with a bit of an electric shock now and then.
Oh no! The amount of times I've had 240 through me, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's disgusting, isn't it? But, yeah.
Yeah, and all because I can't be asked going to the electric box and knocking off the circuit breaker.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do it while it's live.
Yeah, that or a spark. Have you ever had a zap off a spark plug?
Oh my God, yeah.
Incredibly unpleasant. Hey, Taxi, how you doing, mate?
There we go. Text is in.
Yeah, I remember fixing one of my mate's cars once, and we couldn't get the thing to start. So, we'll check for spark. And I grabbed hold of the spark plug, held it to the manifold, and oh yeah, it had spark. That's the worst electric shock I've ever had.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, the smell of burning flesh. Now, speaking of electronics, that leads us lovingly into something I've never heard of. Now, you'll have to talk me through this one, my friend.
Okay.
Off you go.
Yeah, well, this was actually my second electronics kit. The first one I had, I must have been about 5 or 6, I think. And it was a Johnny Ball electronics kit with an intro from him on... The manual had a little, one of those pull-out floppy records that you used to get back in the day.
Flexi disc.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, and that was my first introduction into electronics at all. And it had very, very simple, make the bulb light, up to something a bit more complicated like build a crystal radio.
Oh.
And I started getting into electronics a little bit at that point. And then my uncle bought me this Sensor Robot 20 thing when I was probably about 8 years old at the time. And it introduced me to things I'd never used before in my life. So things like the buzzers, capacitors, reed switches, op amps, that sort of thing. It was a brilliant introduction into electronics because as a toddler, apparently, I was very, very handy with a screwdriver. I was very good at taking things apart.
Mm-hmm.
Not brilliant at putting them back together. So there's a lot of destroyed electronics in my parents' house at that time. So I think introducing me to electronics was a way of curbing me destroying the household appliances. I had to know how things work, and I still do to a degree. But it's one of those electronics kits where it will give you a series of example circuits to build, and you would get pre-cut wires, and you would insert them into the springs between all the different components, and you would build certain circuits, and you would learn how they functioned as well. And then once I started getting a bit cocky, I'd start building my own circuits. And I think, well, okay, let's try a few things out. If I change this to this, it does that. What happens if I connect this to this? Oh, the battery gets really hot. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. But then it spawned off as well. Because at the time, my daddy worked at the telephone exchange, and they were going through a period of upgrading it to digital. So this is probably mid to late 80s. They were starting to take out all the old electromechanical stuff. And I got so many old scrap electronics out of that place because they were literally throwing it in a skip.
Yeah.
Up to and including a soldering iron, which its only purpose was to solder relays onto giant circuit boards, and the head of it must have been like that thick. And the solder that came with was like something a plumber would use.
Yeah.
And at that point, I could start really taking things apart and building my own stuff. So I started cannibalizing my electronics kits for the parts. We also had a Spectrum computer at the time. What we'd have is the thing was used to death, really, and the tape recorders would wear out very quickly. So they wouldn't play tapes, and they were basically scrap. But the amplifier would still work, and the speakers were still good. So I used to dismantle them, and I'd build intercom systems, and I'd have them sort of all around the house. My dad was able to bring home old phones that were being skipped as well, and I'd build things with that. Yeah. You should have seen the state of the carpet in my bedroom at the time. It was full of solder, full of burn marks. It was horrific. It's not normal for an 8-year-old, but that's what I did. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm jealous because now I wish I'd got more into the electronics, especially for my retro equipment. And it's fabulous to hear how something maybe as simple as this set you on this path. Right. My final toy for you will be a video, so I shall change scenes, and hopefully, if I can organize myself a little bit, let's have a look. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Now this one, I've chosen. You chose, and I think everybody will know this one. La la la. I'll just unmute that. Sorry, I'm just setting up my video stream here. So there. Bosh. Now, come on, wake up. Why is it not working? La 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 la. Just bear with it. There we go. Now then, I think everybody will know this. I shall play the advert for it. Yep. And we shall see.
From Kenner's Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection, it's Millennium Falcon that you put together. Batteries not included.
Nice landing, Han Solo. Uh-oh, come on, Chewbacca. Stormtroopers are coming.
Action figures each sold separately.
Got them on radar. I'll fire the laser cannon.
There's even a hidden storage hatch.
Ready for takeoff. Jump to light speed. We're gone. On to the Death Star.
Millennium Falcon from Kenner's Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection. Action figures each sold separately.
There we go. Of course it is the well-known Millennium Falcon. So were you a Star Wars geek, like most of us were?
Oh, I definitely was when I was a kid. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely loved it. Yeah, so this is a toy I actually got for Christmas. I already had one. I had a toy, it was the Slave one, which was the Boba Fett thing.
Yeah.
Sort of inappropriately named toy for today.
Well, who cares?
Absolutely. And then I got the upgrade, which is the Millennium Falcon. Of course, I couldn't just leave it as it was either, but it was a fantastic thing because it had so many different things to it. I mean, first of all, you had to assemble it out the box. So the basic thing was there, but the top of it came off and you had to unwrap, I think it was the table, and then there was the trapdoor had to be installed. Anything like that where you're putting things together, I get excited with. What I did like about it was it had pegs all over the inside, and they were for, if you remember the characters, the actual figures you used to buy in the 80s, they always had holes in the feet.
Yes. And
that was so you could stand them up inside as well. So it was great. So they'd always be having some sort of important meeting in there when you took the back of the Millennium Falcon off. But then I went further than that as well. I customized it. So I got some old yo-yo string, and I took the sort of trapdoor off the bottom of it, and I'd created with a pencil. It was like some sort of winch system.
Right.
So I was able to rescue characters from all sorts of iffy situations as I was flying around with this thing as well. Absolutely phenomenal toy. I had it for years and years. Probably a little bit longer than I should have, but yeah. Fond memories of holding this thing and running around the house with it. And
yeah.
My mum shouting at me saying, can you stop doing that? I'd say, why? She said, you're 16 and it's getting weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that now off my wife. Yeah. Okay. What you doing? I'm playing with this. You're 50. Grow up.
Who wants to grow up? There's no fun in that at all.
Indeed. Well, yeah, there's a fair few people in the chat that had that. Yeah, which is nice to see. And yeah, they're all discussing it, which is brilliant. Especially the Kenner. We're talking. Are we talking late 70s for you? This one?
No, this was early 80s.
Rightio. Right, so it's early 80s, yeah. So it was more the Empire Strikes Back time.
Yeah. A film I never liked. I know that's going to be like really, really controversial, I'm sure, but I've never got along with that film. It was because when I first saw it, I was quite young, and I found it really, really dark.
Mm. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. We got some Sir Novabug himself in the chat now. Good to see you, buddy. And feel free to plug away anything you've got, Novabug. And we have OSG, Old Style Gaming. Who's this guest? I'm late in. Well, if you look in the chat description, in the description box, buddy, there's a link to his YouTube channel. His name is SteDubya, and he's a hardware wizard. That's all I will say about that. But please go to his channel, and I will be doing links. Yeah. Beano's put a picture up in Discord. Radio. But Discord's. I'll have a look see after, buddy. Yeah. But yeah. I will definitely. So yeah, so it was would it have still been a Kenner toy, that one, or was it a different brand, do you think?
Do you know, I've no idea what brand it was. I couldn't tell you. The box went in it wasn't the recycling at the time. It was the bin on Christmas Day, I would think. It was that exact model that you shown on the screen. I couldn't tell you who manufactured it. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know the original Kenner ones that go for stupid money on eBay now.
Yes, yeah, I've looked that up myself because I thought, it'd be nice to have one for nostalgia. And then you see the prices and you think, no, I'm not that nostalgic. It's okay, it's fine. I've got my memories and my photographs, and that will do.
Yeah. If only we were the same about our 8-bit micros.
I spend far too much on 8-bit micros. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. It's a hobby now that's it does sort of test the wallet. Now that Novabug is saying there is a certain podcast coming out this week. Maybe it depends on how he's doing work-wise and all that with it. Apparently, a very, very devilishly attractive gentleman on as his guest. I wonder who that could be. I'm not sure. I look forward to seeing that one, buddy. Hey, Avo, good to see you, buddy. And yeah, so speaking of toys, we get into more the electronic side of toys now. And again, I shall have to just have a little play with my settings on here. So, and I've got a few videos to play, guys, of certain things. Now, sometimes I couldn't find the ROM for this one to play. And I'll be dead honest with everybody. I was that tired this morning. I literally got everything together today for this stream. As you know, I've been working many stupid hours. But what I shall do is I shall show people maybe somebody else's video on YouTube. So I shall go to the big screen. And this is a little LCD. Now then, hopefully that will be showing through. People can see. Now, I've never seen this one before. I assume it's a Donkey Kong clone, maybe?
Oh, the Hero and Princess? Yeah, most definitely. It was something I was bought as a little tiny kid. I absolutely adored it. To the point where I could almost do it without looking. I could play the game from purely the sounds, and it was incredibly repetitive. But it was absolutely so nostalgic, it really was. Hero and Princess. So you would steal a key, you would then have to battle your way past the crow, over the trampoline, and then I think you would have to I think they were boulders or barrels. You make sure you grab the sword on the way up, because if you didn't, you couldn't win.
Yeah.
Kill the ape, and then you would be able to unlock one of the locks for the princess. You would have to do that 4 times, and at that point you won the game. Yeah, it was absolutely superb. It was the first electronic game I was ever bought. I was probably about 7, maybe younger when I got that. And I played it absolutely to death. In fact, it was still working when I lent it out, and it never came back, shall we say.
Oh, yes. Was it to a friend?
It was to an ex-girlfriend. I had a stack of electronic games, and I lent them to her. We split up. I completely forgot. It was only like a year later I realised she still had them. So that was the end of those. But never mind. I did think about buying it again. And I had a look on eBay, and there was one going for about £70.
Oh.
And then you think, well, I'm not that nostalgic.
Yeah, I'm not £70 nostalgic, yeah.
No, absolutely not. One will turn up eventually, and I'll be able to pick one up. But it was starting to show signs of wear anyway. So you see between the 2 screens, there's a ribbon cable. That was just beginning to crack on mine. So it might have died eventually anyway. I don't know, but yeah. So it was a nostalgic game to play, and then I think one day, the day my parents probably rue, is the day I found out it had an alarm clock on it. I had no idea for about a year after owning this thing that I could set an alarm on it, and I would randomly hide it in parts of the house and just have the alarm go off. I was an absolute arsehole like that when I was younger. I really was, and I'd have to look at the pan cupboards and all sorts.
Superb. Yeah. It would have been. Was it a piezo sounder in it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a really high-pitched, horrible thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Well, you had very understanding parents. My father would have knocked me out for any tricks like that, I tell you. And let's have a look what people are saying in the chat. Just quickly. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Talking about various things. Old Style Gaming saying, I still have that Mighty Metro Scale Electric in the loft.
Awesome.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and we're talking about arcade games and LCDs. 80s Retro Gamer, yes. If only we knew back then, but back then, what we know now, yeah, never lend anything out. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Let's have a look. What was my support? Yeah, Kane in the coffee bean. Also, 38 hours and he's still smashing. I'm trying my best, buddy. I'm trying my best. Works crazy at the moment with this China virus and staff being off. So yeah, it's finding time to do these streams is I'm starting to struggle, but not to worry. Not to worry. I couldn't let my mates down, and that's what everybody in the chat is, my mates. So, staying on the old electronic, I shall go to big screen again, and we shall look at the second one, which is, and I'm sure a lot of people will know this one, and I'll even give it a bit of sound. How's that? Mario Cement Factory. What can you tell me about this one, buddy?
Okay, this was the last electronic game I was ever bought, so I was probably a bit older at this time. Although I still have this one. It's still in the collection. It's one of the few things I actually still have. But,
amazing!
If you look on the back, it's like, right, every one of these electronic games I had, I would tip X the back and then write my name on it. So if you see any on eBay that say "Stay" on the back, it was probably one of mine, and my ex is flogging them off. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. The batteries are dead in it at the moment. I'll have to change those. But that was very, very comforting on long car journeys when going on holiday, particularly. So trips down south, down to Brixton in the early 90s, trips across to France. That's what got me through it. Mario Cement Factory. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome.
Just a quick one. Have you seen the Commodore 64 version of this that Hazemaker has done?
No, I will be doing now.
Right, Hazemaker Hazemaker has done a version of this, and it is like the LCD for the Commodore 64. Mario Cement Factory. He's done it. He's programmed it himself. He's a Twitch streamer, and he does Commodore 64 stuff. So yeah, I shall try. If anybody's got the ROM of it, I should imagine maybe OSG's got it. If you can throw it in my Discord under Retro Recollections, I would appreciate that. And then Steve can pick it up and have a play with that. But yes, I totally understand the needing something to while away the hours for holidays, because you'd be stuck in now. I don't know what car you had, but let's change scenes. But in my day, my dad had a Volkswagen, a V-Dub, and a Beetle, and where the parcel shelf used to be, that was out, and I'd sit in there for more room because my brother would be in there as well, and I didn't want him touching me. And and I would have my Invaders from Space, which was on my stream, and I'd be playing that in the back, and it would help greatly with the hours as they flew by. So no, I can talk, and I'm sure people in the chat can totally appreciate that, and probably had the same. I remember I had one of those rich mates who had every LCD going, and when I'd go to like Alton Towers with him and his family, he'd just bring the whole lot with him, and we'd just sit there, or from Manchester to Alton Towers, playing on these LCDs. So no, I can certainly appreciate that side of things. I think Ego Chip said he still has a racing game LCD, and it's not working at the moment. So, or maybe you can send it to Steve. He can fix it for you, because I know Steve's a wizard with the old soldering iron.
It depends how much he values it, to be honest. If he's not worried about never seeing it again or it coming back in pieces, absolutely, I'm up for that. There's a reason I only work on my own stuff. Yeah.
Was it actually? I had a snake and caterpillar one. You can't remember what it was called though, but it was bright red, and he remembers it. Yeah. People are talking about Doctor Who at the moment. I know that's a bit of a thing at the moment. Anna says some of the LCDs were okay. I still have one based on the film Aliens, but it may be broken. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Apparently there's a problem with the display. Some of the cells don't display. Funny you should say that, Ego Chip, because I know that Steve has just done a video on was it the Game.com console or something? The Game.com, yeah. And he had a little way of making the cells come back to life. So I don't know if it's the same technology, but maybe that would be a thing to consider.
Yeah, it was a bit hit and miss. I solder an iron at 200 degrees on the ribbon cable seemed to reflow some of the solder, but it wasn't a complete success. It might be worth a go. I mean, it depends. If it's something that's really nostalgic to you, maybe leave it alone. But if you just want to give it a go, and you're not worried about doing some damage, by all means. I mean, that Game.com, I've got no sentimental attachment to it whatsoever. So I'll have a go, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you know, Ego Chip is he's a well-known to the community Amstrad programmer. He made quite a few Amstrad games, especially the Amy series. So, he said he'll check it out. OSG has put a link in my Discord to Hazemaker's website where you can play it embedded online.
Awesome.
so you can have a look at that, sir. And that's what I love about doing these streams, especially with people in the chat. It maybe broadens people's horizons. So we shall look at the next one. Now then, this is one. Now, I couldn't find the commercial for this, for the electronic one, but I did find the original, which does have a little place in my heart. Now, let's see if people pick up on this.
H7. Hit. B6. Miss. H8. Hit. C5.
Battleship, a great game of strategy, action, and suspense.
Miss. H6. You sank my battleship.
The game you can play anywhere. Battleship from Milton Bradley.
There we go. Battleship, or more so electronic Battleship for yourself, sir.
Yeah, an amazing game, no matter what you're playing it on. Absolutely phenomenal. I actually started off with the travel Battleship, which was just very much the stick a peg in a hole type affair. And I never owned the electronic one, but I was on long-term loan of one. Absolutely phenomenal game. And I loved it because, first of all, nobody would play Battleship with me because I was rather incredibly competitive. And I wanted to play it all the time. So for this thing, the computer would play against me. And the computer never complained and it never got bored. So I could sit there till the batteries ran out. Quite happily. Which I believe with that device didn't take too long. I think it took some big socking C batteries.
Yeah.
Yes, it was on long-term loan to me from a neighbour / friend. And I was absolutely gutted the day I had to give that back. And I've been looking for one recently, actually, but they seem to be going for absolutely silly money at the moment. Again, I'm not that nostalgic, but yeah, the memory I have is sitting on the couch, playing it, usually after school. I'd have children's ITV on in the background, so there'd be something like Count Duckula or something playing. I'd be able to watch the TV, and I'd play Battleship at the same time as well. I was able to multitask like that. Yeah, but it had this, I don't think you could turn it off, I can't remember, but it had this sort of radar sound, this scanning sound that it made, and it would make it every 3 or 4 seconds. And I used to drive the rest of the family absolutely batty with it. Or they'd be making a point of walking over to the TV and cranking the volume up as well. Of course, the TV didn't have a remote control back then. Yeah. Fun times for me. Absolutely. Love the game. Love the electronic version. I would love another one.
Yeah. OSG is saying it's been released as electronic Battleship since Smith's. He got one last year, so it has been re-released.
Oh, right. Excellent.
So that might be cheaper than the original. Yeah, there was a few versions, actually, I noticed when I was doing my research this afternoon for this stream. You had the basic one, which I recall. We used to actually do it with pen and paper and graph paper at school. But also there was the electronic one you sent me a picture of, and also there was a voice one with more like voices and things like that. So it did evolve, and then obviously when the Battleship that movie came out in the 2000s and whatevers, they did release it as well. Hasbro released it.
Right. I loved that film, I must admit.
Yeah. So again, it's so there has been various iterations of it. Now, let's have a look. Mikey, was it Mikey? Who was it? It was either Mikey or Zypho streamed. Sorry, my memory's going at my age. He streamed a computer version of it with his missus. Now, I'm sure it was either Zypho or Mikey, I'm not sure. So, yeah, maybe one of the computer game versions of it as well. Yeah. The starting price for anything in Smith's is 20 quid, he says. Yeah, there we go. John Gage had it on the 464. Yeah, excellent. He thinks it was 20 quid, says OSG. So, the new one.
Oh, it's got to be worth that, absolutely.
Yeah, there we go. Zypho it was. Yeah, he was streaming with his missus playing Battleships, which was funny. Yeah. Oh, are you off, Anna? Are you off, hon? All right. Yeah, you have a good night, love. I know you had a late one. I think she was up till 4 in the morning on in the after party. So you have a good night, my love. All right, and yeah, I'll have a chat with you in Discord through the week. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, yeah, loved the game. Played it. It was fun. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no problemos. Yeah, sorry, I'm just flicking through the chat in case I've missed anything. Yeah, it was yeah. No problemo. Right, yeah, so yeah, we're in the electronic game there, and yeah, I can appreciate that one. Let's have a look what's next on my little, let me mute that, click that. And then, right. So, right, I know what I'm up to now. So I've got a little thing of the layout of the stream, and so again, sticking with the electronics, what I would like to do now is to go into obviously something that's a big part of your life, the gaming aspect.
Yes.
Which what I shall do is I shall pull my emulators up and get them going, and hopefully it'll work. Now I know I had problems starting this. There it is. Right. Now then, there's a noise that everybody should be able to hear in the chat. So I'm going to go to the big screen and I shall switch it on. And nothing happens. Try it again. Click the right button, Phil. There we go. So we're in Atari 2600 land. And of course, it is the one and only Asteroids. So I shall crack on with this. And is there a way for me to turn the sound down on that? Just bear with me because it is a little bit loud. Volume mixer, wakey. Yeah, there we go. Because it was a bit loud. Right, so as I'm playing this, sir, you tell me your retro memories of Asteroids.
Yeah, so this was a console that Atari 2600 console that I was gifted by a friend. Oh God, it would have been about 1990, 1991. And my friend said to me, "Oh, I've got this console, but it's not working properly. Can you take a look at it?" Because he knew I still had this ridiculous soldering iron with a giant pad on it at the time. And it was one of these. Not this one, unfortunately. But yeah, and what the problem was with it was he tripped over the power cord and he'd snagged the power connector. So all I had to do was repair the plug where he'd snagged the wire, and then I had to resolder the power connector as well. I got back into school the next day. I said, "Oh, your console's fixed. Come pick it up at the weekend." He said, "Nah, you're all right. You can keep it. I'm really not interested." So I got a free Atari 2600. I thought, well, that'll do me. And the one game that he gave with this console, well, I had two. There was this and there was Obelix. And the Obelix game I never got along with. But the Asteroids game I played to death. Absolutely amazing game. Loved it. I remember playing it and my uncle coming round one day and he says, "Oh yeah," he says, "I used to play this at the arcade." I had no idea whatsoever at the time that this was even an arcade game. I just thought it was based on that system and that was it. He said, "No, it's an arcade game that was ported to the other systems." But yeah, it was. I was really, really good at this game. Absolutely love it. I've got fond memories of just because what we had at the time, we had a Spectrum, but it was shared between my brothers. But this was mine. The Atari was mine, so I could have it in my room with my portable TV, and I played it to death. Absolutely amazing game.
Sorry. Wow. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of skipped frames, so you'll have to bear with me, guys. It is when I open an emulator, it doesn't like it for some reason. But I'll try not to play the games for too long. So yeah, the game. By the way, folks, I am looking into getting a new PC so that these streams will be a lot better for you guys. So I've had a chat with Mikey and we're going to sort something out. He's going to spec me a system for streaming. So my poor little laptop can't handle it. Yeah, I know, FC. Yeah, it should be coming back now. So hit refresh and it should be back. I've closed the emulator. Everybody's picked up. So yeah, we are back. Sorry about that, folks. I have no idea what went wrong there. As Mikey said, as soon as I put the emulator on, for some reason it just died. So I apologize for that. I'm going to have to look into a new machine, and hopefully it will improve matters, I should say. So Mikey's put the links in for me, which is superb. It's okay now. Yeah, fantastic. Right, glad to have you back, guys. Again, I do apologize. There we go. I've just lost 25% there just then. Wow, that is amazing. There's something not right here. I've not changed anything, so treat myself early this Christmas. Well, I've got a couple of pups to sell, so I will be upgrading my system. So hopefully we can carry on. All right. What I shall do is let's get this open again and resume. What I'll do, Steve, is I won't put the emulator on because that obviously caused a problem. So what I shall do is ask you to discuss your Spectrum game that you chose.
Yep.
So if you can tell, if you can tell everybody.
You're cutting in and out something terrible at the moment, so I'll assume you're talking about Spectrum game Jumping Jack.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, it's the first game I ever played. It's the first computer game I ever played. So this is Christmas Day, 1986, I think it was, and me and my brother, we got the Sinclair Spectrum. The story I got from my parents in later years is that they wanted to encourage us to learn about computers when we were younger, but they just couldn't afford it. So what they had to do is they had to borrow the money off my uncle and then spend a few months paying him back. But what we did get was the Sinclair Spectrum 128 Plus.
Ooh.
It was a lovely machine. I knew a couple of my friends had Spectrums, so I was aware of them. There was the BBC Micro in school, but we were never allowed to touch it because my primary school was funny like that. So yeah, it was the first thing we ever did, and it was quite a revelation because I'd never heard of games being loaded from a cassette before. That was a brand new concept to me, and having to actually wait for these things to load. My interaction with computers before this had always been BBC Micro, 5.25-inch floppy disk.
Yeah. And
the first thing we fired up was Jumping Jack. And to this day, it's still my favourite ever game. I absolutely love this game. I appreciate, when I say that, I am very much in a minority because I know it's not a popular game. And a lot of people find it very, very difficult to play as well. But it's absolutely epic. I think my record is 12 hazards or something like that. Yeah. I did put a video together not so long ago, just showing off the game, actually. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal game. Very, very difficult. I think anyone who plays it for the first time certainly struggles with it. There's also a version on the Dragon 32. I bought a Dragon 32 about a year ago, and I bought the game for that as well. And it's not a patch. It's Spectrum or nothing for this game. But yeah, it's that nostalgia, this game, of using a computer for the first time. Not just gaming for the first time, but physically using a computer. And for that reason, it's always going to be my favourite game.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. It's not always. This is something that has been coming up a lot in these streams. And just a quick hello to Zypho, who has joined. Finally, my chat box has caught up. Wonderful. And sorry, Mikey. Yes, we'll do that in the week, mate. He's gonna. Mikey Smith's offered to link into my computer and see if we can maybe tidy up a few settings and get things working a little bit better. So we shall sort that out, buddy. But welcome, Zypher. Yeah, I had a complete stream failure, so but not to worry, not to worry. I won't be playing the game, but yeah, one thing that's been coming up in this series is your memories aren't always of the best games. No, I'm sorry, now, Zy. They're not always of the best games, and for me, it was Galactic Plague. On the Amstrad for me, and yeah, it's not the best game, but that held the memories. And for you, it was this one, Jumping Jack.
Yeah. The game could be complete. If I played the game for the first time today, I may think it was complete and utter garbage. But for me, it's always going to be my favourite game.
Well, it has to be,
For that reason.
Yeah. I did have a go of it on the emulator that seems to have crashed my stream. I did have a go on it. It was I struggled because the key mapping on my emulator wasn't the best. It was a simple. It's how can I describe it to people? There's an Amstrad game. What's it, Runner? That I did on a shit game challenge. Is it Load Runner? I can't remember, something Runner on the Amstrad. It's the similar concept, Jumping Jack, but one thing I did find was I jumped through the gaps, but my head would hit the beams on the other above it, so I'd die instantly. Home runner, that's it, John. Yeah, so I was like, oh right, so I think I got up to maybe the third or fourth level up, and then of course you try and run with the gaps that you stood on, so you run across the screen and you flick over to the other side, and eventually I'd fall down and start again from the beginning. So it is a difficult game. Yeah, Home Runner, that's the one on the Amstrad. Don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I remember the video.
Yeah. So the other final game, I'll play the video of this one. I've just managed, rather than fire up an emulator and crash the whole stream again, I found a video on it. And this one is on the old Atari 800, which is nice to see. And I shall go big screen, and I shall switch my YUT on, and it will hopefully pick it up. No, it's still looking for the Millennium Falcon. Just give me a second. There we go. Okay, now, I'd never heard of this one at all, and it looks lovely to me. I was really impressed with it. Tell me about it.
It's an amazingly it's an amazing game in terms of graphics and sound for an 8-bit Atari machine. I mean, it's really getting up to Commodore 64 standards. But yeah, this was a game I played back when I was about 12 or 13, I think it was. And it was another gifted machine. It was a friend I had who said, I've got this old Atari, do you want it? At which point I'd already been given the 2600. I said I had no idea Atari even made computers at the time. I was aware of the ST, but I didn't know they'd made anything previous. And it was an 800 XL. and it had a bit of a dodgy power supply, but in that you had to wedge something underneath the socket and then not breathe, and then it would work fine. But yeah, he gave me this thing. And one of my brother's friends, he said, "Oh, he's got one. He's got some games." And I had no games for it whatsoever. He said, "Would you like to borrow some?" So I did, and Fred was one of them, and it was the game I played the most. And I always remember, my parents at the time, they had this hi-fi stack system, and they had a tape deck with two cassette units in it, so I could use it to copy games, and that's what I did. So I always remember loading Fred from a Memorex cassette. And I always remember it took a good half an hour to load as well. I don't know if you've ever used an 800 computer, but the load times on them are criminal. They really are. But yeah, it was a copy of a copy, I should point out as well. So it didn't always work. It sometimes took a few goes to get it to load. And frantic cleaning of the tape heads ensued as well. Not that I'm promoting software piracy.
No.
Well, actually, maybe I am. Do you know what? Go for it. Who cares? But yeah, it was the soundtrack to this game when you were playing it was phenomenal, and I've been trying to find a copy on eBay ever since. Because I recently bought. Well, I say recently, it was about 2 years ago now. I bought another 800 XL for nostalgic reasons, and the one game I want to play is this, Fred, and I've just not been able to find a copy of it. And I suppose I could get an SD solution and do it that way and download it, but I really want it on cassette.
One thing, I don't know if you've seen that what Novabug does now is managing somehow to re-record a lot of cassettes, a lot of the games he's got, and back onto the cassettes. So again, maybe that's a way forward for you if you can get maybe an audio file of it, so that you can have it on cassette. I would certainly speak to Novabug on that. He's very knowledgeable on restoring that. Yeah, on restoring cassettes. So I'm sure there's a possible way to do it for the Atari. But I had a look at this, and you've got your YouTube. The music is playing for this, and it's quite a stonking tune. I'll be dead honest. It's really a stonking tune. I struggled finding a disc image of it. So I did find a tape image for it from my emulator, but I'm not touching my emulator with the barge pole, or else I'll probably crash the stream again. But it's a cracking little platformer, and the old pokey, I think it was called Sound Chip. It certainly lives up to its name of being maybe just below the SID or equal to the SID, as some people may think. Cracking game. My memories of the Atari 800, my mate had one.
Okay.
And he had an Atari 800, and my memory of that was Drop Zone. He had Drop Zone for it, and that was a belting shoot 'em up. And I know it came out on the Commodore 64, but I didn't have access to a Commie 64. But I did get to play it on his Atari 800, and what a belting game that was. Defend the Clone type thing. So the Atari was an amazing machine, really. I think it suffered a little bit similar to the Amstrad, where maybe they didn't get the best out of it, and it had more to offer the programmers.
Absolutely.
Just like the Amstrad, and we are rediscovering it. I have seen a few decent tech demos as well. One thing that stood out for me about the Atari 800 is I remember going to a computer shop we used to go to in Manchester all the time, in the Corn Exchange before it was blown up. And they had one on display, and it had the demo of the walking robot. Does that ring a bell to you?
I don't remember it, no.
Okay. Do a search on YouTube and have a look at robot demo Atari 800 in your in your time, and now have a look. That was on the screen, like in the shop, as we had the Amstrad one was a really poor one. But that was like to demonstrate what the computer could do, and oh god, it blew me away because obviously the Atari had that many colours.
Yes, yeah. I went from using a Spectrum to the Atari 800. It was such a step up, certainly for gameplay. But this game just took it one step further. Just really up to, I think, Commodore 64 standards.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's got lovely animation as well, which is nice to see.
It's a smooth scroller as well. It's
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm watching the video now, and it's absolutely belting. I look forward to playing this one. I will have a go of it. I've downloaded the tape version, so like I said, I couldn't find a disc version. I just need to try and convince my emulator to work.
I'll have to do the same. I'll have to find a Memorex cassette to copy it onto as well for proper nostalgia.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Well, if you can, I should imagine if you did some sort of line out from your computer to a cassette deck and then loaded it on the emulator in real time, as you would the cassette, you might be able to record the sound.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, just make sure it's a mono, stereo to mono, because I know a lot of them needed a mono signal.
Well, the Atari 800 uses it's actually a stereo cassette deck. They're really weird the way they work. So the idea is you would have one channel that plays the signal, and the second one you could actually have commentary as it was loaded.
Yeah.
So in some cases you could actually have music playing. Really weird the way they've done it.
Yeah. Rightio. So we are going to discuss gaming further on. I know it's a big part of your channel, obviously. We will discuss it. But let's move on to television. Something that I was really, really interested in your choices on this. Because obviously as a 70s child, I did recognise a few of them. So what I shall do is I shall go back to big screen and we shall play the first video.
Watching Children's BBC on BBC Two. In 15 minutes, Dilly the dinosaur will be down at the park. But first, here's Finger Mouse.
Finger Mouse.
Yeah, it sounds like horrible animal abuse, really, doesn't it? But it was a toss-up. Do I mention this or Button Moon? I thought, well, everybody remembers Button Moon, but nobody seems to remember Finger Mouse. It seems to have. It was an evolution of Finger Bobs, which I think was out in the 70s, and I think they might have rerun it in the 80s as well. But what you had was this very accomplished musician who would demonstrate each week a different musical instrument. Things like a guitar I'd heard of, things like a piano I'd heard of, maybe a trumpet, but other things I'd absolutely never heard of. So for that, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I absolutely cringe at watching it now. It's just a guy with a cardboard cone on his finger, and he talks to it. But why not? You know, it's such an interestingly weird British thing, such an eccentric thing. I couldn't not mention it, but it was my introduction to a lot of instruments that I've never heard of, and frankly, a very, very talented guy who seemed to be able to play them all as well.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. What was it, Yaffle or something he was called?
Forget his name. I remember he went on to create the Tweenies, didn't he? I think.
Yeah. I remember Finger Bobs. I was prior to you, so I'm just looking for my lighter because I've dropped it somewhere. I don't know where. Not to worry. I remember Finger Bobs, which was before Finger Mouse, and he'd the intro for that, because I was trying to find the intros and I was like, oh god, yeah. There's a few people actually in the chat saying, oh, I remember that. So there you go. You're not alone.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah.
You are certainly not alone. Now, I think everybody... showing how young I am, but I did grow up with the Tweenies. Yeah. No, but it was one of them odd things that just don't happen anymore. Okay, Anna. Yeah, I remember it and didn't understand it then. Yeah. She didn't understand it yet. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Yoffie. There we go. It's called Yoffie. Yoffie lifts a finger. Now, on our intro, it was Yoffie lifts a finger and a mouse is there. I remember that. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, if you have a look at the Finger Bob's intro at some time, you'll see where I'm from. Superb stuff. Yeah, a lot of people really finger porn. Bob, yes, okay. Yeah, insane. We had some cracking, crazy programs we really did in the 80s. It was brilliant, and the 70s. So everybody knows the next one. Again, I shall play it, and everybody will straight away recognise it.
This is a story about an ordinary teddy bear. When he was made, they found something wrong with him and threw him away like a piece of rubbish into an old dark storeroom. Then, from outer space, a spotty man brought him to life with his cosmic dust. He took him to a magic cloud where Mother Nature gave him special powers. That bear became Super Ted.
There we go. Of course, it's the one and only Super Ted. Tell me about your memories of that one.
What an awesome cartoon, and a homegrown one as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was made in Wales, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So awesome program. Yeah, it always used to upset me that they'd throw him away like a piece of rubbish to start with.
Yeah, I know. It was a bit dark, that, wasn't it? And then and the one thing that used to freak me out, I'd be like, hang on, he's just peeled his skin off. His fur.
Yeah.
And he's got a suit on underneath it.
Yeah. And it was a bit like a snake shedding its skin, really, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, God, I would sit inches from the TV watching this. Am I right in thinking it was Children's ITV, the channel it was on? That would tend to be the one I'd watch.
I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's yeah. Oh, there we go. Rachel said, "Yeah, I know. You know what you're saying about he was cast away." She said it used to make her cry. Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I think FC said.
Off a bottle of whiskey.
I think FC Denhard said that they actually had that translated into Dutch, so you got to see that one as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good actually, because it was a cracking program. It really was. Yeah. Oh, of course, that was the bad guy, Texas Pete, as well. Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was well made, and the stories were really interesting as well.
Yeah. It was obviously, that makes sense. It was in conjunction with S4C. Yeah, S4C, the Welsh Channel 4.
Yeah.
It was done. Yeah. And Bulk was the fat guy in it.
Yeah.
There you go. Texie88 says, Super Ted's Nemesis is the basis for my YouTube name.
Oh, fantastic.
So there we go. It was voiced by Derek Griffiths. And yeah.
There's so many fond memories of this cartoon. I think if you grew up in the 80s, you didn't not know Super Ted, did you?
Oh, definitely. It was definitely one that you grew up with. I mean, 80s up to 86, I was. It was again like a lot of programs, but yeah. It was John Pertwee, Doctor Who did Spotty's voice. Also, Wurzel Gummidge.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So it was John Pertwee who did that, and Danger Mouse and Trapdoor are the obvious ones. Yes. I'm hoping they will come up through this series. But yeah, it's lovely to have some memories. It really is, and especially on this. Now, your final choice on this was weird. And I'm saying it was weird because I've never seen this before. I don't think I've ever seen this before. And I was a little bit disturbed, but but then I figured out where it was from, and then it sort of made sense. So I don't have memories of this. I know you do. Let's see if the chat can recognize it and if they've got memories of this one.
There's a great big bus way up in the sky, and everyone said it would never, never fly. With a boop boop, chubba chubba, bing a bang bing. This is a song that we always sing. Boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba. Boom boom, boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba chub, boom boom. Kookaburra, kangaroo, wallabies and snakes. Open the steam valve, let go the brakes. Chuggy chuggy, clatter clatter, chop chop chop. Off we go in a funny old bus. Boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba. Boom boom, boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba chub, boom boom. Over the hill and over the dale, we're on a big quest that must not fail. We're finding a way to make the air clean, and it's all to do with very hot steam. Boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba. Boom boom, boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba, boom boom, chubba chubba chub, boom boom. Boom boom, chubba chubba chub, boom boom.
There we go. I'm sorry, mate. You're gonna have to explain yourself on this one. You really are.
I was addicted to this program in, it would have been the mid-'80s when this was on, and it was introduced on a Saturday by Gaz Top in the Millennium Dustbin.
Oh, yeah.
And it ran for about 6 or 7 episodes, I think. And it was a spin-off of do you remember the Secret Valley program? It was the Australian one. It was a spin-off of that. Admittedly, it's terrible. It really is. But what interested me was this weird bus thing they used to fly around in. And I was trying to work out, I was always trying to, with each episode, trying to reverse engineer how the hell this thing works, because it didn't make any sense. The basic storyline was they built this bus from something they picked up at a scrapyard, and they were trying to find out this recipe for something called super steam or something. And they would fly around each week, and they'd have a little adventure in the bus, and they'd find another part of the clue, and then they'd move on. And I was trying to reverse engineer how the hell this thing could possibly fly. I thought, okay, so it runs on steam, so I can understand the motion, but I can't understand the lift. Even at this young age, I was such an incredible nerd. I thought, you can't fill a balloon with steam because it just ended up like a really soggy mess. There's 2 bicycle wheels going on in the background. What on earth are they powering? I could never work it out, but I've always been interested in sort of mechanics and engineering, and I was trying to work out how the hell this thing worked. And that was my main interest. But I must admit, I never missed an episode of this. I'd be glued to the screen right up until the last episode, which to this day I've never seen, because for whatever reason we were out that day. But yeah, it was Gaz Top and Gilbert the Alien that would introduce this every week.
Yeah. Okay, I am aware of the time, so I will move on to the next.
And now look at the latest technological trends in tomorrow's world.
Now, I chose the 80s version of this because I assume that was your intro, your decade.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what a phenomenal program. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, John Gage. This was the best intro. Yeah, totally agree with you on that. Yeah, I'm going to move over also onto the next video, the next intro, which will get me some right copyright claims in. But I'm going to talk over it just in case. And it's Lost in Space. Again, another cracking cracking program that I have fond memories of. And again, it was I played the colour version. I remember it being in black and white. Warning, Will Robinson. Yes. Did you actually see the new version of it, the film, the new series?
I really enjoyed it. I thought
I
it was
did.
really well done.
Yeah, I thought they did a belting job on it.
And
Yeah.
did you see the original cast? They
Yes.
popped up here and there as well.
Yeah, which was brilliant. Which was absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
So
I
Bill
thought.
Murray played the original Dr. Smith in the new series. So he was in it for like one episode.
Yeah. Right, I shall pause that there and jump over to here because I am having to being aware of the time. Mikey, if you're about, I'm running a touch late because of the problems I had earlier. If somebody can let Mikey know that, if he's not in the chat. But yeah, it's so starting off with obviously Tomorrow's World. If you can just talk to me about that one.
Yeah, so being a complete nerd, as I always was, it was something that new technologies always fascinated me. So any advancement in computer technology, any sort of new technology, really, it was fascinating to see what was in development and what was coming along. So it could be the likes of digital television, for example. The first thing I heard about that was on Tomorrow's World. Satellite navigation. First time I ever saw that demonstrated was Tomorrow's World. It was something like many, many thousands of pounds at the time just to get one of the units. Absolutely phenomenal program. And what I like to do now, as a nostalgia point of view, is I actually like to go back and watch the old videos on YouTube and either go, "Hey, well done," or "Ha, wrong."
Yeah, what a great idea! No worries, Mikey. Yeah, what a brilliant idea.
There's an episode from I think it's from the late 80s or early 90s, which covers what life would be like in 2020.
Wow.
And apart from human malware, it's incredibly accurate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that'll be a good. That'll be good to watch. If you get a chance, throw a link in my Discord, mate, to that, and I'll have a look at that later. Definitely be interested in that. Definitely. And obviously, moving on, I assume this was a Sunday program for you.
Lost in Space.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it was. We'd be dragged to church every Sunday. By the way, I just point out that I'm actually a hardcore atheist. So, not that I'm angry at religion. If that's your thing, then good luck to you and wonderful. But yes, back in the day, we would be dragged to church in very itchy clothes, and the one thing that actually got me through it was being able to come back and watch Lost in Space. Absolutely wonderful program. Back when it was in the early days, so it was black and white. Really interesting. So I loved anything sci-fi at the time. I was really into Forbidden Planet, if you remember that.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
And then when I found I could actually watch a TV series that was set in space, it was absolutely fantastic. Of course, as these things do, the quality degrades as it goes along. So by the time it got to the episode with the talking carrots, I think I'd lost interest by then. But, I think everyone remembers that one.
Yeah.
But in the early days, it was absolutely fascinating. Of course, it was a rerun then. Yeah,
of course it was. Yeah. I remember it on a Sunday, and I remember it in black and white. So before they started getting into colour and stuff. But yeah, they were a cracking series, and I think the characters, especially Dr. Smith, are obviously really, really, even now, if somebody says, "Oh yeah," people have been putting comments in, danger, Will Robinson and all that, and it just straight away triggers those memories. Andrea's saying she used to love Quantum Leap. Yes, I agree with you on that.
That was amazing, that programme.
Yeah. Fireball XL5 says Bug Juffer. That was another one. Yeah, totally agree.
Oh, yeah.
And Ego Chip saying Time Tunnel. Yes, I remember that one. Yeah. I used to love the old shows. I really did. One thing that we used to have, now I don't know if you remember it, there was on a Sunday in the 80s, early 80s, we used to have Monkey, of course. We'd also have the Water Margin,
Okay.
which was a dubbed, it was a dubbed Japanese type adventure story as such, with samurais, etc. So I'm going to get, not a lot of people remember that. So if you remember the Water Margin, just say yes, I remember that in the chat. That'd be awesome. So Big Juffer's already says, I've not thought of that in years. There you go, Juffer. Yeah. That was
mentioned UFO. That was a superb program as
yeah.
well.
Now Rachel's asking the question, which I think I know. What was the name of where they had to throw a token onto a grid, and if it fell off the lines, it went into the vortex? Oh. I'm not sure about throwing a thing. I remember one called the Adventure Game, where they would be stood on like this isometric grid, crossing, and but they wouldn't see where the enemy was. So yeah, the Adventure Game, yeah. So maybe it was that one, Rachel. Yeah, and here we go. Ego Chip is saying, I don't remember much, but Hitchhikers, of course, Prisoner Cell Block H, yeah, Adrian Mole, Only Fools, yeah, and stuff like that. And the Crystal Maze, of course, John, yes. And UFO was a series. Well, I'll let you explain what UFO was.
Oh, it was amazing. It was a it was a rerun when I saw it, I think. But yes, it was an invasion from a foreign planet of aliens who breathed in green liquid, if I remember correctly. And each week there'd be some sort of minor attempt at infiltration. What was the name of the head guy? Straker?
Yeah, something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I like the cars in it because they custom built all these weird futuristic looking cars. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was the Adventure Game. Good 8-bit race. Yeah. You'll have to have that one on when you're on my stream, love. Definitely. Okay. Let's have a look. Where am I up to now? Yeah. Your last choice of your last choice of television was quite grown up, I thought. Let me put the big screen on. And I shall play it. And I actually chose quite an episode dedicated to GP. If you hear dogs barking, by the way, my daughter's just turned up, so the dogs might go a little bit apeshit because she's just come in from work. But
now Roger Cook
here we go.
investigates stalkers for the Cook Report.
I just want to be left alone. Make myself clear. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone.
John Knight has made one woman's life a misery, following her, writing to her, threatening her and ringing her. Russell Hoskins even steals from the woman he's obsessed with. Tonight, the Cook Report turns the tables on Britain's stalkers.
He just said very calmly, well, it's about time to die.
Actually, is what I call and many have called mental terrorism.
And then all of a sudden you've got like fatal attraction on your doorstep. Is in my nightmares.
Yeah, so I'd like to dedicate that episode to GP. And a lot of people saying, yes, I love that, the Cook Report. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Monkfish, yeah. Loads of people recognising that, yeah. Yes, Princess Di did have a stalker. Right, tell me, why did this programme attract you?
I think at the time there was nothing quite like it. So nowadays you get a lot of these hardcore investigative journalism going on. It's really good, but I don't remember anything quite like this at the time. And I used to think this guy's got balls of steel, really. And each week he'd go after a particular lowlife. It was my first introduction when I was young that sometimes life isn't very nice and sometimes people aren't very nice.
Yeah.
And even as a kid, maybe it was a good education that you do need to be not so trusting of people. Maybe that's not a good lesson to learn. I don't know. But that bad things do go on in the world, and I was completely oblivious to an awful lot of it until before the Cook Report. But I also like to see people get the comeuppance as well. And
Yes.
there's always plenty of that going on in the Cook Report. But the one episode I remember is he went after certain high-ranking IRA members in one episode. And I thought, well, okay, this will be the last episode he ever makes then, won't it? Probably. I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
journalists did take risks in those days, didn't they?
Yeah. Because, I mean, he would walk up and confront these people who'd done, frankly, really unpleasant things to other people, be it, financially or in that clip, actually stalking people. And you think he's really got some bravery there. Having said that, you never saw what was behind the camera. He could have had like 25 blokes with baseball bats. You don't know, do you?
No.
He might have been perfectly well protected, but yeah, it was it was really fascinating to see this side of society that, frankly, I'd never seen before. Being brought up in a fairly sheltered environment, I think it was just, I suppose, the social science of it just fascinating. Yeah.
It's it's not my kind of thing, but no, it's like I said, this isn't a show about my memories, it's about yours. And yeah, that's certainly interesting. Right, Steve, what I would like you to do is switch your camera back on.
Okie dokie.
And I shall try and pick it back up again. All being well. All being well. There we go. I've got you back in.
Hey.
There we go. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, before we finish up, what I would like to do is, when I can remember where the hell I put it, which it's disappeared now. I'm sure I did an image 5. Where's image 5 gone? Just check my big screen. Image 4. No, I've lost it for some reason. Not to worry. Just bear with me, folks. There we go. I'll put Steve on the big screen. There he is, on the big screen. There we go. Right, yeah. Steve. Yeah, you're on the big screen now. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, this is. Did you have anything for show and tell?
The only thing I've got really is my childhood computer, although not the original. That kind of came unstuck a little bit, but this was my childhood computer back in the day.
A toast rack.
A toast rack, indeed. Yeah.
Worth a lot of money.
There's a sad story behind the original, which I won't go into now. Where it will happen, but there's that. There's the my second computer, which was the Atari.
Yeah.
So this was what was gifted to me.
Yeah. You've done a video on that one, haven't you?
Yes. Thanks to the wonderful seller I bought it from, it arrived in several hundred pieces.
That's correct. Yeah.
It took a lot of work, and the 2600 as well.
Yeah. No, that's not a wooden one. It's a more recent one.
Yeah, so that's a mid to late 80s model as well.
Yeah.
And the last was my Mega Drive. So I've got some really fond memories of my Mega Drive.
Ooh, go on.
Absolutely adored the thing. It's unfortunately this isn't the original. I would love to know what happened to the original. It disappeared under suspicious circumstances.
Oh.
But I don't know. One day I'll phone my ex-wife and find out what she did with it. But
Oh, not to worry, not to worry. What I would like to do now is, if I can get this flaming thing to work. There it is. Done. Is I'm going to hopefully. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Oh yes, I'll have to move that up there. Sorry, folks, I'm just trying to get this full screen so that it can be seen properly. What I would like to now is, here we go, is plug your YouTube channel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Steve obviously has a YouTube channel, and it's a marvellous, marvellous channel. It's, let me get this as big as I possibly can on here so you can see it. The link to his channel is in the description. Now, Steve, what can you tell me about your channel, if you were to describe it?
It's about the most amateur thing you're ever going to see. So the idea behind setting this up in the first place was it was giving me a means to interact with the retro community and not only show what I'm interested in, but also to receive feedback from other members of the community as well.
Yeah.
I don't claim to be an expert on anything I do. I'm absolutely not. I am learning as I go. What I really do enjoy, though, is taking something that's maybe not been used for a very long time, cleaning it up, refurbishing it, putting it back into some sort of use, and then sharing that with the community as well. That's my main goal. So it's mainly a hardware channel.
Yeah.
I'm either showing off, for example, in case of that ZX80 video, it's something that I just have that I want to share with the community. In the case of some of my Atari videos, it's something that's faulty that I actually want to repair as well. And with mixed success as well. I'm not coming at it from, how can I say it, a professional point of view. It's really not professional. It's really a case of if I can do it, so can you. And let's support each other and let's share tips on how we do these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's...
You did something, just to go to the Amstrad, you did something quite interesting with the label on the 6128.
Oh, yeah. Now, the original label on the 62, it was actually a Spanish model, this. When I got it, the label was so unbelievably battered. I thought, I can never make that look good, and I don't know where I can get a replacement from. So what I did is I made my own. And it's a mixture of the Amstrad logo and Amstrad colours with the label that was on the Spectrum Plus 3. So it's a sort of my own mash-up version of that. So it makes it a little bit unique.
Yes.
In that respect.
Yes. I'm all for mods. I'm all for mods. I'm not one of these that thinks how it should be in original condition. I don't know if you've seen my video, I put a DDI3 inside my CPC, unsoldered the screen, and put that into where the tape deck is, so it shines through there.
Yeah. I think if it's your property, you should be able to do what you want with it. My general feeling on modification is, if it's the last example on planet Earth, maybe keep it for posterity. But if it's your own and you want to put it into use, then modify it so it is usable in 2020 and enjoy it. These things, they look great on a shelf, but that's only half the fun. You need to actually get involved and actually start using these things.
Exactly, I totally agree. The DDI3 solution for me was brilliant. I loved it. I certainly thought it was well worth doing. And as you said, it's my own machine. I'll do what the frig I want with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's right. A few people are saying they've subbed. Fantastic. So, guys, if you haven't subbed to Steve's YouTube channel, the link is in the description. Please do. Let's show him some love. And he really does some fantastic hardware videos. He really does. I really find it interesting. It's what drew me to his channel. And thank you, Anthony Reed. And yeah, so we're picking up a few subs now, which is superb. Retro Only wants to know if you can fix his wife.
I'll give it a go. Absolutely. Yeah.
You might want to use his. Yeah, you might have to use your solder pump for that one.
Right. There's a euphemism there somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh yes, there certainly is. So yeah, guys, let's show some love. Yeah, let's show some love to Steve. He's got a fantastic channel. He says it's amateur, but it's not, and his knowledge is really cool. He's got some amazing machines in there. They Russian Spectrum clones I saw there.
Oh, I've got a couple of those. Yeah, so I've got an Oral, which is an old Ukrainian machine. Really high level of Spectrum compatibility, and the Didactic as well, which is Czechoslovakian. It's got the worst keyboard ever, including the rubber keyed Spectrums, but it's an awesome machine. It really is. Yeah,
fantastic. Well, yeah, it's certainly been a pleasure having you on, sir.
Thank you so much. It's been very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Your sub count is now 125, sir.
Well, thank you all very, very much. I mean, I genuinely appreciate it, and I hope we get to interact more. So either through YellowBelly's rather wonderful weekly streams, or through your channels and mine. Yeah, it'll be really good to get to know you all, guys. So thank you so much.
Yeah, big thanks to Steve for coming on and joining in. Steve's, as I said before, relatively, I'd say, newish to this community, and as with everybody, we welcome him with open arms. And yeah, please sub to his channel and show support. I know a number of you already have, which is fantastic, and you were part of his 100 sub video. Now, those with channels, those who do have channels, I did mention it at the beginning, Steve would like you to put links to your channels in my Discord, if you could do so, and so that he can, he wants to do it. Well, you tell them what video you want to make.
So really what I want to do is really thank this wonderful community for everything you've done to support me. And I want to put together ideally a series of videos where I can show off the absolutely amazing stuff that you're all doing. So if you've got a YouTube channel, please, I would be honoured to show that off for you. But it doesn't have to be a channel. It could be a blog. It could be a collection. Anything like that. It could be a memory. I really don't mind. Anything that you've got that you want to share with the community, I would be happy to promote it in as much as I can.
Superb. Yes, let's share the love. Everybody knows I'm big on sharing the love. Now, Pete, it's time. If you can put those links in for me, buddy, I would appreciate that, if you're still around. It's time for us to move on. Yeah, what a nice bloke. Indeed, 80s Retrogram. He is. He's a lovely fella. He really is. Yeah. Steve says, last time he updated his channel, Ronald Reagan was president. Yeah. What a lovely chat. Oh, you're getting some love in the chat, buddy. Yeah. Now, I have to say a huge thank you to Pete Walker for that monster donation earlier on. You really took my breath away with that. The links are now in the chats for Mikey and Janie. I will see you all over there after I've done some little bits of editing. I'm going to have to paste the two videos together and try and repair the stream before it goes on. But thank you all. Thank you so much, Steve, for being on.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
I'm glad. And yeah, and of course, thanks to all my mates, and you are all my mates in the chat. All that leaves is for me to say, YellowBelly out.